Okay, so today we're talking about parallel lines and transversals. So this is 3.3 on page 9 of your packet. And so parallel lines, you already know, they're just lines on the same plane that do not intersect, have the same slope, or are equidistant. So it would be just if we have two lines going through, those are our parallel lines. The symbol for parallel lines is just two straight lines like that. Looks kind of like a number 11, but you will see that in geometry. Skew lines are not on the same plane, so that means we have 3D figures. And so if I had a cube or a box, skew lines would be one maybe going across the top here, and one going on the side here. And so they're never going to cross each other because they're on different planes, and they're never going to intersect. And then parallel planes are just planes that don't intersect. So if I have that cube again or box again, oh, that's a crooked box, it would be maybe the top and the bottom of the box. So they're parallel and they don't intersect. So on here, see if you can identify some of these. So if I look at line AB, can you see which lines are parallel to AB? Hopefully you recognize that would be DC and EF. So those are all parallel lines going the same direction and on the same plane as AB. Some other parallel lines, there's lots of other options here, so see if you can label a few other parallel lines. And then check. So we have DA is parallel to CB, and I'm putting in my parallel symbol there. So DA and CB. We have DE is parallel to CF. And we have EA is parallel to FB. Alright, some skew lines are lines that aren't ever going to intersect. So if I started with CB, line CB right here, what's a line that will never intersect and is not parallel to it? And hopefully you recognized, well, okay, ED is never going to intersect, not parallel. EA, there are several options here, but skew lines means we are not parallel and we're not going to touch it ever. And then a pair of parallel planes. So remember, planes we label with 3 points. So if I pointed with like C, B, and F, which is the triangle on the end here, it is parallel to DAE. Those are our parallel planes. So go ahead, when you have that, flip to the next page. So now we have a new vocab word. So a transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines in a plane at different points. And so if I have two lines, the transversal is the one that goes across it. Trans means across, so transversal. And so when this happens, we have some angle pairs that are formed. These are pretty logical ones, but they are vocab words that you're going to need to know. So alternate interior, so alternate means, when you see the word alternate, it means opposite sides. Interior means it's in between the lines. So interior is anytime we're in between these two lines. Exterior is when we're outside of those two lines. So if you can remember that, interior is when we're in between the lines, exterior is when we're on the outside. And so if I looked at an alternate interior angle, so I have to go to one of my interior angles, let's say angle 6, what would be the alternate interior angle to 6? And hopefully you recognize, well, that would be 3. So angle 3 and angle 6. And I look, my other interior I could have is 7, and the alternate interior would be 2. So angle 2 and angle 7. Okay, so then let's go to alternate exterior angles. So I'll pick any exterior angle. Let's go ahead and start with 4. What is my alternate exterior angle to 4? And hopefully you recognize that it's 5. So I go to the other side of the line, go up to 5. And then I'll pick another one of angle 8. And recognize the alternate exterior would be angle 1. So that's, again, the alternate means opposite, and just are we looking interior, exterior. And then these are really easy. They're just same side interior, same side exterior. So if I go back to my angle 6, what is on the same side interior of angle 6? And hopefully you recognize, well, okay, that would be the 6 and 7. They're on the same side. And if I go to my angle 3, on the same side would be angle 2. So the same side interior in between these. Same side exterior, so if I go to my angle 4, I just see on the same side of it, on the exterior is 1. And then I have 5 and 8. Alright, and then corresponding angles are in the same position. This is the one that sometimes mixes people up a little bit. So same position relative to the lines in the transversal. And so if I have my transversal, which I'm going to draw over here, and so if I have a transversal like this, I just have to say, okay, so corresponding, if I'm on the left side, and on top, I'm going to come down to the second one and go to the left side and on top. If I were to go to the right side and underneath the line, then I'd go to the right side underneath the line. And so I'm just saying, hey, what is in the same position relative to the line that it's crossing? And so going back to this diagram, our same side ones, our corresponding angles would be like 1 and 3, or 2 and 4, because they're both underneath the line that the transversal is crossing. So let's write these down so you have it for reference. So that'd be 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 5 and 7, and 6 and 8. Okay. So for some students this makes perfect sense. You read through, they all make sense. Some students need to study. So know that you are going to need to know how to label each and every one of those. So if that's not common sense to you, spend some time studying it before next class. Alright, so go ahead and flip over. And this page is for you to do. So we're going to label the pairs, so starting with 1 and 5. And tell me what type they are. Well, okay, so 1 and 5, first of all I'm going to identify transversal. So transversal is which line touches them both. line that touches both angles. So 1 and 5, I say, okay, so my transversal there is C, because that's the one touching them both. And I see they're on the same side, but one is, and they're both on top of that line. One's exterior, one's interior. So that's going to be our corresponding. And I'm just going to jump down and do one more and then let you finish it up. And so this one, 4 and 8, so I'm going to come here and find 4. I'm sorry, I'm pointing to the wrong one. 4 and 12. So 4 and 12. Now I look, okay, 4 and 12, which line is touching them both? And this time it's A. And I look, okay, 4 is on this side, which would be exterior of these two lines. 12 is on this side. Those are, again, corresponding. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video here, and finish up filling in as much of this chart as you can. Okay, so hopefully you followed directions and filled in as much of this as you could. So now take just a minute and check your answers. And that is it for notes today. So go ahead and do the assignment your teacher gives.